Step into a world shrouded in ash and darkness, where legends come to life and ancient powers linger. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Forbidden Lands. Join us as we set sail on longships and explore the unknown, braving untold danger and discovering hidden treasure that lies beneath ash and snow. We are opening up in quite a dire situation. Your ship will be sinking if you do not act fast. Oh, sorry, I just closed my window there. Many of your oars have been lost. Your mast was broken and toppled into the water. Miraculously, it's still tethered to the ship by very strained sealskin ropes, so it could be salvageable, but right now it's threatening to capsize the vessel. It is your main source of propulsion when you're sailing, and if you lose it, it will make sailing very difficult, but you may not live long enough to worry about such practicalities. Your biggest danger right now is the massive sea dragon carcass that is weighing down the stern of the ship. It's causing the bow of the boat to just start rising into the air. The horses on the bow are frantic right now. They're stamping about and shaking the already precariously balanced vessel. Water is pouring in over the stern, and the ship's planks are groaning at the strain of the caulking, with the caulking giving out in many places. We're going to handle this like a little bit of a skill challenge. Everyone's going to get one action this round, kind of like we're in initiative, but you can go in any order. And we need 8 cumulative successes to not have this boat sink. Does anyone have any idea of what they would like to be doing right now to maintain the ship?
So I think even though Bacho's strength is severely damaged at this point, I think he would recognize the risk that the sea serpent is causing to the ship. And he would take his sword and he would begin to hack it apart so he can push the main bulk of it over. So I'm thinking a melee check with my sword.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I'm down to 1 strength, but my melee is 3, and I get
Would you
2
like an
gear
audience
dice.
support?
I would love an audience dice, and I still get +1 with my sword for melee. So, and 8. Okay. Oh, crap. All right. I got 2 successes. I'm going to push it.
Well, if you get a 1, you're going down, though.
Yeah, but you don't take a critical injury if you break
That's
yourself.
True. That's true.
So I did not go down. I picked up a total of 4 successes, but I did take damage to my sword.
4 successes. Wow. All right. You guys are halfway there. Who wants to go next?
Mirren is going to sort of jump up where the mast has broken apart, so she's a little bit higher, and sort of call out to the crew members, get yourselves together. We have to work quickly and together. And she's going to use empathy and manipulation to try to get them sort of organized and working in tasks together so they're more efficient and just there's more hands to do it.
Absolutely. They are very scattered right now, especially after the attack. Bacho is going over and hacking at the sea dragon, so blood is flying everywhere. They don't want to go over to that side of the ship, but with motivation.
I pushed it and I got no successes and a 1.
Oh no. All
By
right.
the way, my sword broke. It had already taken 1 point of damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the scales were so tough that you were just
shattered it.
hacking away and it just shattered and bent. Yeah. All right. That is 2 of you. We need 4 more successes. Anyone have an idea? This is like, please don't call on me.
I have an idea if you want me to go. I just wanted to check some levels on something, but like I can go if you're not ready.
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
So Zeldrin's a tough woman. She's good with strengths type things. So what I'm looking to try to be able to do is try to take some like wood planks and try to do. I'm not trying to craft, just to be clear. I'm trying to use my might to hew some wood together. But if it needs to be crafting, I'll do crafting.
You mean you're trying to like force the planks back together?
Yes.
Can I work with? Can I work?
Could I
with
get a little more description? I'm not sure what you're.
Zaldrun? Can I use my crafting with Zaldrun's might to push like a help action with 2 skill sets where she's using her strength to push it up and hold it there, and I'm using my crafting to put it together.
What exactly are you trying to push up, Zaldrun?
I'm trying to take sort of, there's wood that's broken and wood that's still connected. And so I'm trying to kind of do something that puts all of that together. Clearly have no carpentry skills here. But there's got to be something that I could do.
You could use your might to try to move the mast.
Yeah. And Mirren can be a sort of help guide Zaldrun where
that would make
wood
sense.
actually
Trying to
needs
like
to go.
pull it back onto the ship with your might so that it won't be angling the ship over the side. And you can have the +1 from Mirren assisting.
There you go.
Something we need strength for. Okay, so 3, and then might, and then I saw that. All right. That is 2 successes.
All right, we're almost there. You gonna push?
Sure. Well, still 2 successes and 1 damage to strength.
Okay. Gunk, it falls to you. We have 6 successes total. Zaldrun and with Kipser guiding with morale has managed to heave up most of this mast, at least enough to balance it so that it's not making the ship quite so angled. Bacho has completely cleaved into this sea dragon so that its carcass fell off. So the bow of the ship is back in the water. You're mostly level now. It's still taking on quite a bit of water. What are you doing?
So my idea was to use move, as Gunk is very small and very agile, running around, especially to parts perhaps that have fallen off or have broken apart. And I'm thinking like Gunk is running lines and trying to tie off certain parts of the boat that might be falling off, or if that doesn't make sense to you, at the very least tying ropes to each other so that we're protected from something like that. How does that sound?
No, I think that makes sense, especially with Kipser and Zaldrun pulling the mast on. You could be running lines to help secure that and getting everything cleared out so that it's not going to break things as it comes on board. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's going to be a move test. Doing any sort of bonuses for like, do we have audience dice left?
Yes, we do.
Do we have that? I'll take one if that's okay.
Okay.
Because I still have that breed the sorrow thing. All right, here goes. Need 2, huh? Or the ship's going to sink? Or are we doing another round?
Or the ship is, it's still taking on water. And if you don't get the successes, it will start going under.
Okay, I got 1 success so far, so that is good. The one I do have is on my move skill die, so I'm going to push. So I have 1 success. And here we go. I need to. Come on, Lollygagger. Let's go. I got it. Okay, not on the Lollygagger though. You're dead to me. Go away. But no, I got 2 successes. Exactly.
2 successes. By the skin of your teeth. Ooh. All right. So with all of you working in unison, getting the sailors to help as best they can, this ship is now extremely waterlogged. As you're running about, you're like ankle to almost knee deep, depending on your height, moving through here. It's just sloshing left and right. Sailors have grabbed a couple buckets. A lot of them have helmets, and they're just trying to scoop out water using anything available to them to try and get this water out of the boat. But you are out of the immediate danger. Bacho, you have a moment to breathe. You start remembering the dream that you had the night before, the nightmare that you had before. It's just hard to shake. The betrayal by Wofford, the deaths of the people that you trust most. If you lost the pack, who else would you have? Who do you trust most outside of the pack?
When Bacho thinks about the days before Gunk, there is only one face, only one person who he would call friend. Back when Bacho was but a cub, still on the ice, his father still treating him like a cast-off runt, not worthy of life, there was a traveling minstrel who would come through the north and spread news of the world. He was half human, half knife here, but he always had a smile for Bacho, and he taught him much. He saw in Bacho's strength, and Bacho saw in him his first friend. It has been years since Bacho has found him, but when he remembers, he was the first who was not Wolfkin to show Bacho that there was more to the ice, more to the ash, than what his people called life. And it was because of this friendship that Bacho eventually left to find his own better pack among the other races.
And with that, you come out of your reverie and you see the rest of your pack working, helping bail out this ship. There are only about 6 or 8 oars left, and the sailors have been bailing out most of this water, and a few of them have sat down on the benches and are trying to row as fast as possible to get to shore, pulling in for repairs, things like that. Is there anything you all would like to be doing as this boat is slowly limping to the shoreline?
Bacho's feeling pretty beat up, but he would find some high ground on the ship, and he would be scouting, knowing the amount of blood and offal that's in the water after these 2 giant kills. He's concerned that other predators may surface and see the ship as prey. So he's got a weathered eye on the sea.
Okay, give me a scouting roll -1 because it's so dark right now.
Well, all right. So scouting is 2, and my wits is currently at 4.
And I would have said -2 because it would be pitch black, but those lights that you saw above the clouds, what one of the sailors said were the dream spells of the first ones, they're still shining. They're kind of filtered through this ashy cloud, which is diluting it a little bit, but with the water underneath, it reflects and gives you a bit more light, the most light you've had this entire week. Aaron, I saw you take a picture, so I'm assuming it was a good roll.
I got 4 6s out of 6 dice. So, yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Wow.
Of course, it's probably to see absolutely nothing, and that's okay.
I'm going to give you that you also are able to see a bit of the shoreline through this reflection. And you also find a better place for them to land. They're starting to head that direction. You're scanning the water. You don't see much coming, but it is a good thought that it could absolutely attract something. What about the rest of you? What are you doing?
Mirren will kind of go to Zaldrin, since they've been working together a little bit now, and go, Zaldrin, quick, you and we can probably go. I know that Ven will be fine, but maybe we can calm Cloud down a little bit, and Ven probably would appreciate it still, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I also thought we might want to just see if there's anything where they are that maybe got wet that needs to be relocated.
Yeah. And Mirren will suggest they go help and take care of the animal area.
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me an animal handling +1 from the person helping.
I believe Zaldrin is better at that role.
I'm rolling 4 for that.
I would be rolling the same, so just take the bonus.
You want to roll it?
No, go for it. I'm not
Okay.
rolling well today.
We'll see how this goes. That is 1 success.
Okay. These horses were very frantic and skittish. Ven is usually a very calm horse. She's very well trained. Cloud is a war horse, so it's used to strange situations as well. But with the scent of those sea monsters, along with the rocking of the ship, the bad weather, just culminated in both of them becoming very, very scared. Thankfully, you had them lashed to the bow of the ship. Otherwise, there would have been a good chance that they would have jumped off entirely. But with that success, you're able to calm them down. You're able to assess a little bit. You see that while you're looking, there's quite a few supplies that have been ruined. A good amount of feed for the horses has been ruined as well. You start looking at the rest of the ship, you realize you start realizing that a lot of the supplies in the cargo have been ruined as well. So that's something that you're going to have to start looking at once you get to a bit more of a safe place. Gunk is currently preoccupied right now. He's going to his happy place.
Sorry, my green screen's attacking me right now.
Is falling apart around Gunk.
It's falling on top of me. I'm being drowned by the sail. Okay, so Gunk would actually, if Bacho is taking care of looking out for danger and sort of shouting that direction, at that point, then Gunk will.
Gunk is still very concerned about the lights, about the bites, the little piercings on his chest. The visions that he saw, that he knows were visions or dreams. So Gunk is either he's trying to rack his brain about this thing, trying to now understand what additional dangers are we facing from it, or he's going around and investigating, checking each individual. Checking in with each individual sailor and looking at whatever was salvaged, looking for any signs of something that might be emanating magic of some kind. So he's very careful. He's
Absolutely.
wondering. Yeah.
We can say it's a lore check. I know you like that one.
Whatever you want. I could. I mean, the other.
I'm not sure what else it would be. Lore is kind of like
like
magic sense too, so I'm good with that.
Yeah. Okay. That works. All right. So go ahead and roll these. All right. That is a failure, so I'm gonna push. Ugh, God, that's a whole lot of crap. All right, there's the lolly die. Only 1 success though.
1 success.
Yeah.
I won't give you much with the 1 success, but I will tell you that going around, you have your magic sense already, your innate ability that you don't need to roll for. You don't feel any other magical items other than what you have on you. It doesn't feel as if anything. You have all of them. He's got a bag of holding, basically.
Dragging it
Just puts everything in there.
Don't mind me. Continue your work.
And it's almost noticeable how there's nothing else that has the scent of magic to it. That it's only your items, and now the 4 of you with these marks. No other sailor has these marks. Wofford doesn't have the marks. seems to have singled the four of you out in some way.
So is my innate magical sense, is it actually picking up like a magical imbuement on Mirren and Bacho and Zaldrin? Like,
I think it would be safe to say that the bite mark has a lingering magic aura to it. It wouldn't be as strong as like any of the artifacts you have. It would almost be like the smell of a kitchen after dinner's already been made. You can still smell it a little bit, but the smell is fading.
Gunk will this will manifest in Gunk standing very close to each one of them, maybe even climbing up a bit for Bacho, and eyes wide, just sort of staring at you all very quizzically, but not wanting to converse. Like, you can say I could talk if I wanted to, but for some reason I'm just staring you down for a very long period of time and doing like calculations in my head, just wondering, oh, very interesting. And then instinctively just sort of touching where he got bit on his chest. Very interesting indeed. Is this a gift? Curse? And then once somebody looks like they're about to talk to him, ask him why he's there, he will just abruptly leave and before they can say anything and go to the next one.
As Kipser and Zaldrin are trying to help these horses, and Gunk just comes right in between them, then moves away.
It's not on Ven. It's interesting. What cloud? It's just us. How curious. Yeah.
So it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for this boat to limp onto the shore. It hits the shore with a bit of a lurch. I say shore. This isn't actually ground that you're on. It's almost a glacier. The ice has frozen out quite a few yards into the water just because the temperatures have dropped so rapidly. So you kind of break onto the ice a little bit. With the angle of the boat, you go a little bit over. There wasn't much momentum. Normally, when you beach a ship, which you guys have done many times, you get quite a bit onto the shore. There just wasn't enough oars or sail power for you to get that far. So the sailors have to immediately jump off and start pulling ropes to try and get it more and more onto the ice so that it won't drift away. Even then, they can only get it so far right now, but it's in a place where it's mostly secure. As you look around at the shore, Gunk, you probably see this the best, but the rest of you can see a little bit with the light that's reflecting. It's a bit of a barren wasteland here. There's no real tree line. There's no forest. It's quite flat. There are some very low rolling hills, but for the most part, you just see fields and fields of snow. If there is any plant life here, it's been buried under the snow that's been happening the past few days. Octa would be shouting orders to the sailors, trying to get them organized as best he can. After he gets them working, he would try to find the group of you. We're going to have to get shelter fast. We can't stay on the boat. It's flooded. Until we get it fixed, I don't know what we're doing.
Zaldrin will reach kind of into her bag and she's like, I have a tent.
All right, that'll cover two of us.
Well, to be fair, it's probably not you. However, let's start fires.
We've also got two large tents in our party loot that we didn't have to throw away. So,
how many do those take?
Good question. I don't remember.
5, maybe? I don't know. Large tent.
30, I think. 30, 35. Yeah, really.
Oh, we're good.
That sounds about right.
We got plenty.
Oh my
30,
god.
35. Yeah.
Invite strangers off the glacier.
It's a military command
Get all the
tent.
penguins. But we should start fires as quickly as we can. It is not just the darkness, it is warmth.
Bacho turns to Octa and he goes, I need your sword.
What?
Your
You
sword.
want my sword?
Temporarily, until we actually get to civilization. Mine was broken fighting off that sea serpent. If you want me to protect the crew, I need a blade.
That's fair. You're probably better with it than I am. Give me a moment and I'll get it out of my chest. Let's get this. Let's get settled.
Well,
Oh,
hurry. If a creature comes upon us on the ice floe, I've got nothing to fight it with but, well, one of your men's legs.
Yeah, I'll get the sword. I'll get the sword.
Excellent. Thank you, Captain.
And you can take a short sword.
Okay.
Did we lose anybody on the crew?
Good question. I was going to roll for that, and we will find out here.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought chest.
Yeah, I immediately thought that. I'm like, I think he's being sarcastic. Oh, he meant like a war chest type of thing. Got it. Foot locker.
For once, my luck has held. It appears as if the entire crew has lived throughout this ordeal.
Of course they have. They are under our protection. So we have plenty of people to help us get the camp set up. Yes?
Yes, there's 16 sailors, the captain, Octa, and Wofford among yourselves. And then yourselves.
Well, the mast, it's down anyway. We could just take the actual sail off and use that with I guess parts of the boat as well to create some sort of shelter.
Give me a crafting.
Okay.
+1 because they'll help you.
Okay, great. Can I also grab an audience dice?
Oh, they are helping you. So that makes sense.
Excellent. So I have not rolled well. Sorry, Max. Oh, my dog is upset.
You can't upset Max. It's better not to roll if it's going to make the dog upset.
My dog
Yeah,
is
you
okay.
should just give her an auto success, not a pass.
Oh, yeah, no, I think so.
It's only
4
fair.
successes.
Oh my
Four
gosh.
successes.
Nice.
All right.
That was worth moving Max for.
I'm sorry, little buddy.
So the sailors are, a lot of them are working on trying to recock the boards on the ship, but about half of them get off. And Mirren, you were just directing them expertly, telling them the best way to make a little bit of a shanty town here as they start setting up tents. You use the mast, like you say, to make a bigger tent with the sail on there. There's quite a bit of activity happening right now, but you are able to manage and coordinate it all. What are the rest of you doing as this camp is being built?
We need to set up watches. We don't know what else could be on here. There could be other things.
Because we can't see all the way across, right? Like all the way across this, like, because you said it's more like a glacier that we're on, right?
Yes. You are on an island right now that the glacier is on the coast of.
Okay.
This island is rather large.
Okay.
It's not as big as the mainland, but it's still like 6 or 7 hexes at the width. So it would take a couple days of travel to get to the other side.
Okay. Gunk would want to set up specific places, torches, as he can in some sort of radius, so that and kind of as our fixed position where our camp is, so that we can see out from it and see anything that might try to come from the island into our camp, and try to get a rotation up with some of the people who are not working, so they're watching. So everyone's constantly watching.
Bacha would take a watch. He would be watching the shoreline to make sure that no land predators come crawling out to investigate us.
I'm not going to require a skill check for that. I'm going to say that it's automatically successful. I do want you to roll for torches for that resource, as a lot of resources were ruined on the ship. So we're going to go back to you guys having to roll for your own resources. But you get watches set up when the sailors are done making this shanty town. They're trying to grab as many furs that aren't waterlogged and soaked from the ship. And with the furs that are mostly dry enough, they're huddled about on the shore, the coast, the ice field that you're on in a very small perimeter. You probably have like 3 or 4 people watching in most directions. Zaldrin, what are you doing?
Zaldrin is just doing grunt work. So whoever needs something lifted, hoisted, carried, positioned, or whatnot, that's what she's doing. So basically just point her in a direction, tell her what needs doing, and she will do it.
Okay. So that would probably involve a lot of the building of the camp and then trying to get cargo off of the ship as well. There is a ramp that you can use to take things off, but they can often be quite heavy. So you're moving a lot of small crates and things like that to the best of your ability. Barrels of salted meats and all sorts of things like that. Octa would be doing a bit of an audit as this is happening, trying to assess how much you have. And after the camp is built, perimeters are set up, you have as much shelter as you possibly can provide yourselves right now. Octa will find the four of you and give you the rundown of what he's discovered on the ship. Quite a bit of our supplies were ruined, unfortunately. We're not going to starve, but we could start starving in about 3 or 4 days. I think we'll get to the end of the week if we stay put, but it's going to be rough. And even then, it would be a couple days just to get to Haltis. That's the closest city, town, and we have to go through the Thawmere to get there. That's a bit of a bog, a quagmire. It's not going to be an easy trip. So our choice here is to stay with the ship, try to get it fixed and limp our way to Haltis, or start walking. Either way, we need to make the choice now so we can ration our food accordingly.
Bacho, when you were chopping the body of the serpents off the ship, did they sink in the water or did they float?
They did sink.
They sank out of sight.
Oh, darn. I thought maybe if we could limp to them, we could get some food.
If necessary, we can fish. We've got the capability of fishing, and if we have to go into the Thawmere, perhaps we could do some hunting. There's bound to be some sort of animals surviving there in the marsh. I don't know if we'll be able to feed the whole crew, but the pack will survive.
Well, I mean, I would like it if the crew survived too. That would be nice. I would like to survive.
Well, the odds are in your favor. We are very good at that. We just, gotta keep ourselves strong so we can help provide that.
I won't argue with you there. That was a rough battle, and we would not have survived without the four of you. You have my unending appreciation.
So,
well, Captain, it is your ship. Do you wish to try to sail, or do you want to strike out across land?
That's a good question. I don't necessarily have an answer to it. Gunk, your brow is furrowed. Did you have something that you wanted to suggest?
the ship is in no condition to sail currently, is it not? We limped here to shore, but the mast is not in place. There is all sorts of significant damage that will need repairs, and that will take time.
Several days at least.
And then you said that the walk out of here, I misunderstood. Are we not on an island off the coast?
We're on a large island, and the dwarven city of Haltis is on this island. So we could walk there, but it would take several days.
You're calling that's like a really big island. Okay.
It's like the imaginary world of Australia.
Right.
It's like what Ireland is to Great Britain.
Right. My memory of the map suggests that this is a quite large area. Okay, I see what you mean. Why don't we rest for the night, and then the four of us could perhaps scout a bit in the morning, or after Bacho is able to heal, and we could see if we can find some creatures either roaming or hiding somewhere in the burrows, and we can see if there's anything around here. You all are sailors. I am sure more than one of you can fish, or maybe hunt for crabs or some other crustaceans along the shore. There could be something. And
we'll do our best.
We should ration.
Game is always scarce this time of the month, but we'll try. I do admit I don't want to leave the ship, and if it took several days to repair the ship and then a couple days of limping along to try to get to Haltis, there's a chance we would see someone on the way that could help us. There's a chance if we wait till daylight, we might see someone, but it's a risk. Walking out seems very dangerous right now.
And there's a chance that all we see on the water is our reavers as well, and we don't want to face them with the ship in the condition that it is in. So, and you're right.
That's very true.
Might be scarce, but the creatures of this world must hide in burrows somewhere, and we might be able to find them. It might not be traditional hunting. We might instead be looking for their lairs, hibernation. Some might be sleeping, etc.
Well, the halfling said this is your specialty, so I'll trust you with that. Like you said, let's take the night, and I'll take a poll among the crew. I'm shipmaster, but this isn't something that I can just unilaterally decide. I'll see what the crew wants to do. So what do you guys want to do? This was the morning of the 4th day of Gwinnett. Mm-hmm. I'm going to bump you into the afternoon now. We'll say that took the whole morning of the fighting the sea monsters, getting the ship to land, making this camp. What are you doing now?
Once the camp is all together, Bacho is going to crawl into a tent and go to sleep because he is tired and beat up.
The rest of you?
Wait, Bacho, before you go to sleep, and Mirren will come and start shaking you. I know, but look, I can help you learn. I see Jeff's screen just moving. I can help you learn how to keep warm a little bit better. Can you stay up for a little bit longer?
All right. So he wakes up, shakes his fur, and listens as Mirren starts to guide him through the
process of
learning how to be warm-blooded in the cold. She will teach him how.
So Mirren and Bacho, you have to go out into the cold a little bit to practice these techniques. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that you're walking through the camp a little bit. Likely one of you trips on a stake and a tent falls on Gunk.
Oh, sorry, Gunk. It was an accident. I promise.
This is like the 4th time in the last 20 minutes. What is happening?
Bad luck today. Happy Gwinnett.
But happy Gwinnett. The quarter day, you can train him. Absolutely.
All right.
I think it's really good for you. Now, I know we're outside in the cold, but imagine it's warm.
I see what you're saying, what you're doing, Mirren. That makes a great difference. Thank you. I can't believe I did not pick this up as a cub, but it doesn't surprise me. My original pack always just assumed that I was going to die anyway.
My family were hunters, so we had to learn this so that we could stay out a little bit more into the danger zone.
And all right, so after learning that new skill or new talent,
3 XP, no need for a roll because you had a teacher.
Already taken care of. Then Bacho crawls back into his tent and goes to sleep.
I won't wake you up this time.
That'll be the next quarter day because it does take a quarter day of training.
Yes.
Gunk and Zaldrin, what are you doing?
So Gunk, considering how everything is falling apart and we're having to consolidate and all this kind of thing, Gunk is going to spend some time trying to rearrange his pack to more if with the proposition of a lengthy foot travel in the dark and in the ice over the next couple of days. He is going to work on trying to be more efficiently packed. So what I'm doing is essentially going from rank 1 of pack rat to rank 2 of pack rat, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
Right.
This will be our training afternoon.
Perfect.
Gunk is learning to Tetris. making sure that all the pieces fit where they need to go. Zaldrin, what are you doing?
He's pointing at tents. Go ahead, fall on me. Go ahead. I will fold you into the tiniest cube. Try me right now.
Zaldrin, what are you doing?
Zaldrin is going to be kind of using, kind of similar to kind of what she's done a little bit before, but kind of using the being in this camp, which is something new. And so she's training up sixth sense is what she's doing. So basically this is kind of a new area. And so she's going to kind of like close her eyes and kind of walk around and kind of, peek her eyes open and see if she was able to kind of sense the movement of people and, kind of their positions and listen to, steps in the snow and different things like that. So that's what she's kind of working on for her training.
Absolutely. And the darkness almost heightens your other senses, allowing you to hyper focus on the hearing and even changes in air as someone walks past you. It's freezing cold, but you're out here and you're just learning awareness, like you said, the sixth sense, keeping track of where everyone is, looking for other dangers that might be passing by. Fortunately, you do not see any of those dangers. You don't see any strange ripples in the water. You also don't see any game nearby. So we'll say that the afternoon passes here. We're going into the evening. It is going on, so it's going to be dark no matter what. So you guys can be kind of loose with your timing. You don't necessarily have to sleep in the dark. It's going to be dark no matter when you rest. Would you guys like to just spend the night in this camp, or do you want to kind of walk the perimeter, see what's around? What's the intention here?
Bacho is sleeping.
Bacho's sleeping.
Period.
Would everyone else be resting as well?
So I'm sorry, this is the night quarter? Is that what this is?
This is evening, third quarter of the day.
All right, evening. Gunk, having done his pack, he will stay awake for the evening. He will make sure that he is amongst the perimeter, and he is using his dark vision to get probably a further sight than most. And he's not only doing that, he's also sensing for something more supernatural, something more magical as well. He's trying to just make sure everyone is protected at this point.
Mirren and Zaldrin, before I narrate what happens with Gunk, what are you two doing?
If Mirren sees that Gunk is staying up and staying watch, because she was thinking that somebody should, like the pack shouldn't all sleep at once, we'll take her rest as well with Bacho.
And Zaldrin?
Zaldrin will not want to leave just one member of the pack up. So Zaldrin will kind of go back to kind of reassuring, keeping an eye on all of the sailors. She doesn't really think anyone's going to go wandering off in the middle of nowhere, but just making sure that everyone's kind of staying put and not being, dummies running out there and being calling anything over in our direction.
Okay, then I am going to want a keep watch roll from either of you. You're going to get a +1 for Gunk's night vision and a +1 for the other one helping, which keep watch is a scouting roll, I believe.
How good is Aldrin at scouting?
5.
5? What that isn't even 5. Why would you give me a number when I ask how good you are at scouting?
I am
so strange. Okay, Gunk will then just assist Aldrin and specifically focus on like the dark, sensing magic, that kind of thing, and reporting to her as she does so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take an audience. Yikes. I'm going to push that. That is guaranteed to be 1 wits. damage, and I'm going to push and see what else happens. Wow. Gunk should have rolled that. That's a break on wits.
Oh no. Your wits is broken, you said.
Uh-huh.
All right. That actually works pretty well. For me, not for you.
Not for Gunk. Not for Gunk.
Zaldrin, you and Gunk are fairly close together. Maybe chit-chatting a little bit as you're keeping watch. But you specifically, Zaldrin, have been hyper alert for quite a bit. You spent the last quarter day practicing Sixth Sense. As you're looking about, you almost see movement in the darkness. Gunk was probably looking a different direction because Gunk, you're worried about the magical side. You notice that the lights in the sky are beginning to fade away. They're getting dimmer and dimmer over this quarter day. As the last bit of light fades, Zaldrin, you see a strange humanoid figure in the distance, very, very far away, just kind of loping across these plains, kind of like how a wolfkin might run on all fours. As it happens, though, you get a very sharp headache from seeing this, and you are going to collapse from your wits there.
Gunk. Look.
Yeah.
And then she just grabs her head and keels over.
What happened? Why are you on the ground? You were just looking. What? Did you get hit by something? And he'll be like, looking for wounds on Zaldrin. Like, what happened? What? Look away for like 2 seconds and you're on the ground now. What the?
Zaldrin sensed the folding world around Gunk.
Like, Zaldrin,
yeah, so
wake up. Whack, whack.
Zaldrin, broken wits means you're paralyzed by fear or confusion. So you can play that however you'd like. You'd be able to respond if you want.
What is it? What is wrong?
So, Zaldrin generally is kind of stands upright and she's, kind of pretty tough, but she's just head in hand, just, kind of sitting down, kind of her forehead on her knees, just kind of holding her head. It hurts.
What?
It hurts.
Bacho is nearly dead, and you're talking about the headache? Come on now.
Just
then go
out there to see. Look.
What? There's darkness out there. What is it?
And he'll turn and
Gunk,
look.
you start looking, and you see it a bit clearer than Zaldrin did, and it does give you a bit of fear and trepidation as you see.
Oh, jeez.
This humanoid figure loping across the plains. It definitely seems as if it's like skirting around you. It's not headed towards you. It's headed sideways, but at this distance, you feel like it would have had to at least known of your presence. As you're looking, it's moving a bit like a wolfkin on all fours, except you realize that there are strange antlers or bones protruding from it in various places. It's definitely not something you've seen before or would like to see again.
Is it still in my vision, or is it gone? Is it like retreated?
It's going to stay in your vision for some time just because it's a flat plains. It's definitely like out of arrow range. It's just barely a speck going across the plains here.
Okay. If that is the case, I will go to the guards, whoever of the normal crew is assisting, and I will say there is something out there. It is retreating currently, but there is something beyond guard.
And I will quietly start spreading the word.
It is similar to a wolfkin, but and I'll describe it. Antlers, a creature I am not familiar with. I will need to get a closer look, but steel yourselves. We do not know what could be out here. Come. Keep eyes open, keep ears open, keep mouths closed unless you see something. Yes?
I would like a manipulation check from you Not necessarily whether they believe you or not, but just how you can convey the information without making them even more scared after what they just went through.
What are you talking about? That was so calm and collected. That was great.
It was
you trying
great.
to say?
You know what? +1 for the argument. How about that?
I mean, I was joking. I don't think it was.
I give Kipser +1 for her great arguments too.
I would push, didn't get any successes. I got 1 success. Okay. 1-6.
1-6. There is quite a bit of panic at first. As you tell the first person on watch, it's Aba, the sailor who told you about the dream spells. And she seems to be very superstitious. She's freezing cold right now, covered in furs, but her face goes even whiter. And do you know what it is?
I do not believe so. No. Do you?
My mother would tell me all sorts of scary stories at night. It could be any number of a dozen things I've heard about.
Well, that is fair. But I will say to you that we killed 2. Not 1, but 2 massive sea monsters during the week of darkness. There is nothing, absolutely nothing here that we cannot take care of. Do you understand?
I understand.
Do you
I'm glad that the
believe?
4 of you are with us. I believe you.
Okay. Then
You saved us once. I'm sure you could do it again.
it was a team effort. Everyone was helping. Now, spread the word so that everyone waking up, going on shift knows. Don't spread the panic, just the knowledge. Yes?
Yes, I understand. And she'll
Okay.
go off and start telling them as best she can. And it does seem as if, morale's already hanging by a thread here, but it doesn't seem like you've pushed anything over the edge. We'll say that the quarter day continues on. Is there anything else you'd like to be doing, Gunk, as Bacho and Mirren are resting and Zaldrin has been broken?
The point of clarification that I just threw in Twitch chat, I'm not actually broken. One of the ones wasn't actually on the dice to break me. So
it wasn't
I've
on the
lost
attribute die? Okay, so
I
you're still
lost
good.
2 on my wits. So I'm down to 1 wits, 1 agility, and 2 strength. But I'm not actually broken.
Okay, no worries. That's not a difficult retcon to make. So you're still conscious, and you can regroup with Gunk. How do you two want to manage this situation? You've got the sentinels looking as best they can. The light has faded quickly from the clouds above, so you're left with just campfires and torches for light right now. Every sentinel, every person watching has their own torch. Mostly for heat as much as anything else. And there are several fires very close to tents just to have people try and siphon some of that warmth into their tent. So the only light in this camp right now is coming from your fires.
Gunk would like to gather up whatever debris he might be able to find, tools, nails, anything metal. And he would like to make very rudimentary noisemaker trap type of thing. And because he can see in the darkness, he would like to take them further away from the camp. Not too far, but something, and just space them here and there. Perhaps we could get lucky. Perhaps we could hear them coming if they decide to get any closer.
Give me a crafting roll for that.
Damn it.
Zaldrin, what are you doing during this? Are you helping him? Or
Yes.
do you have something else in mind?
No, I'm just helping. I'm not feeling particularly good. So
Then +1.
Okie dokie. Can I take a audience die for this?
sure thing.
I'm not the craftiest.
Some
Not in
point
that
in
way.
time, Mirren can teach you crafting as well.
Okay, I got 1 success. I'd rather not push because the other 2 dice for my strength are 1s. So I'm just going to go with the 1 success.
I don't know why I throw monsters at you guys. You just break yourselves. There's nothing I've done
I
that
didn't
threatens
push.
you as much
I
as you
didn't
threaten
push.
yourselves.
I'm not going to push.
Okay, so
That's quite a bit.
oh, I didn't hear that, Aaron. Sorry.
Oh, it's cold,
So-
which
We're
So
losing you, Aaron.
Aaron, you're breaking.
I'm sure it'll come back in a moment. Gunk, you get a lot of sealskin ropes around several stakes as well. Zaldrin, you probably start pounding the stakes into the ice to the best of your ability. The ice is very thick, so the wooden stakes don't go in very well. However, there's quite a bit of snow on top of here as well from the weather, so you're able to stamp a lot of snow around it to keep them all up. And you go as far out around the camp as you can with these sealskin ropes, with what you have available. And you make a crude perimeter of sorts, about a foot or so off the ground, with all sorts of metal things that are hanging from it, whatever you can find. A lot of cooking pots. Mirren's going to be upset when she wakes up, probably, to find that her kitchenware has been repurposed. But you do have a crude sort of noise alarm going out and around the camp. We'll say that takes the rest of the quarter day. What does the transition look like as Zaldrin and Gunk wake up Bacho and Mirren?
Gunk will go into Bacho, where Bacho is resting. Whatever our normal, he probably knows not to get too close, but he will, with his staff, kind of poke him from a distance. Bacho, this time. Your
I'm
turn to
awake.
watch.
I'm ready.
And then he'll debrief Bacho on what he saw and what Zaldrin saw, on the noise making traps, all that kind of stuff, and how he'll everything that went down. He'll just debrief Bacho, so he's familiar.
Fair enough. So the two of you head to sleep. Bacho and Mirren, you have a quarter day where you're going to be keeping watch. So I would like one of you to give me a scouting roll. It's going to be -2 here because it's so dark out.
It's going to be Bacho.
Okay.
And I will
I've
help.
got- Sounds good. All right, -2.
-2 +1 for Mirren. So net -1.
Okay, net -1, so it's 5. Okay, now I'm going to push. Not a single 6, so I'm going to push.
Hopefully no ones as well.
Nope, no ones until now. I got 4 ones and no successes. I'm almost broken.
Oh
Again.
Well, good morning to you.
So my scouting roll fails miserably.
The dice gods
Bacho.
do not like us today.
The dark. It is not my time. I can't
It's
see
okay.
anything out here.
You did your best, Bacho. I don't think I could see anything either.
Yeah, you really are just staring into the darkness, listening as much as anything else. But most of the sound comes from your camp. Bacho, you're trying to smell anything on the wind. This cold air is so frustrating to you. It just doesn't carry a scent very well. It dries out your nose. You almost feel like you're blinded in 2 ways, from the darkness and just this bitter cold air. But the watch does pass uneventfully. Whether the creature was close by or not, you won't be able to tell. But that takes us into the morning here. The 4 of you are now awake. You've all rested. What are you doing? What's the plan?
I lean towards fixing the boat and seeing if we can't bring that with us.
I was leaning in that direction as well.
If we wanna
Bacho will
be-
go find the captain. Octa, what did the crew decide?
We took a poll, and I'll be honest, not a single person voted for walking out of here. It seems pretty dangerous, and we have a camp here. It's not ideal, but in a pinch, we can push the boat back into the water and hopefully run away. I think they would like to try and repair the ship. It's going to be close with our food. We're chancing reavers, but the other option seems like death.
Well, if the crew works on the ship repairs, we can hunt and fish and scout to try to keep the camp safe.
That would be greatly appreciated. I know the entire crew would be very thankful to know that you're out there protecting us.
Then it's settled.
Again, you have my thanks. My entire crew owe their lives to you. I owe my life to you. It's not gone unnoticed.
We'll do our best, says the 3 apples tall halfling way down at the knee.
I saw you shoot that bow. I'm sure that you'll do more than fine.
Shall we scout out towards the Thalmir and see if we can do some hunting?
Yes. And we should keep an eye out for that creature, whatever it was.
I
I
can
would
fish
prefer not
better
to
than I
see
can
that again.
hunt.
So if you want to hunt and fish, you don't necessarily have to go to a different hex for that. If you want to start scouting out and around, I would say that we go into the travel rules there as you guys start doing a perimeter. What do you guys think?
I mean, Bacho and I could go hunting. I'm not sure where Zaldrin is on this. Mirren said she wanted to fish. But Gunk and Bacho can go looking for game within mechanically our hex. I don't know what Zaldrin's preference is.
Probably staying in this hex as well.
Bacho was also thinking of maybe scouting out a little bit, seeing if we could pick up the tracks of whatever it was that was, seeing if we can figure out whether or not they're stalking the camp or if they were just moving past the area.
Just curious, not necessarily predatory.
So I would say if you two go hunting, you'd be able to find the tracks that are close by if they're still there. Obviously, it's been snowing and it's very windy, or if it even left tracks. But if you want to really see where they lead, then that would take travel rules into different hexes, things like that. So it sounds like you guys want to stay in the same hex for now, right? So let's go ahead and do our foraging, hunting, and fishing here. So fishing is survival. Let's start with that, Mirren.
I also get +1 because I have the fish hook. Well, I am going to push, and I've broken my fish hook.
Oh, no.
1 success.
1 success. All right, so that is 1 die's worth of food that you've pulled. It has to be cooked still, but you have the cook talent now, right? So you can do that. And it takes a quarter day to cook as well.
Okay.
Zaldrin, what are you doing?
I'm hunting.
Hunting. Okay, so the 3 of you are hunting together, I assume, or do you want to split up to try and cover more ground?
I think Bacho is currently pretty mentally fatigued, so I think he would be aiding Zaldrin. Maybe, trying to beat the bushes, try to, flush some game.
Zaldrin, how good are you at let's say hunting? Of curiosity.
So hunting, there's find prey, survival, and then kill prey is marksman.
Right.
Or survival.
Right.
So I am better at killing prey than finding prey.
I am pretty good at finding. I can.
Then Bacho would help.
Yeah.
Bacho would help Gunk find the prey,
and then Zaldrin maybe can kill it. Is that fair? Can we do that, Game Master?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just pulling up rules here because I think there are modifications for where you are for the hunting.
Right.
So where you are right now, hunting is -1 because you're on an ice cap right now.
Got it. Okay.
I'm also going to say -1 because of the darkness as well. That won't apply to Gunk.
Okay.
And I'm just assisting Gunk, so I just offsetting that 1 -1.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Or you could assist Zaldrin to offset her -2.
I'm not particularly good at marksmanship. He doesn't. Okay, I can do that. That way she'll just have the way Zaldrin will just have a -1.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll take a audience die as well.
Sure.
Fate is on our side. Let us find out. It was, as I rolled 3 6s. But another 1 on the lolly die. What is happening to you? Who are you? 3 6s. You are muted, my friend.
Sorry,
Speak
I'm reading
up.
the rules here. 3 6s. So
Mhm.
you actually, you do find some game. You're going to find the tracks of what appears to be a snow fox, a very small cat-like creature, or dog-like pads. Obviously not a wolf,
Mhm.
but it looks as if it's come through here fairly recently. As you're finding these tracks, though, the three of you also come across the other set of tracks. It is large, seems to be humanoid. It does seem as if it has hands, but also hooves.
Mhm.
You saw it was moving on all fours, and it looks like the front 2 legs, feet, arms had hands. There are like handprints in the snow here, but then the back legs seem to be hooves, and it's a very strange abomination combination.
Perhaps the meat would be good regardless. It's much larger than a fox.
That is true. But you and I often travel on all fours as well. And I like to think we are intelligent.
True. My stomach is thinking for me. You're right, Gunk.
I think perhaps for now we get the fox, get the shore meat. If this creature continues to lurk around our camp, then that would be a different story. It is my thought, at least.
So I'm aiming to kill the fox.
That is ideal, yes.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll your kill prey marksmanship.
Okay. I've got so it's a -1 with the benefit then of Bacho's assistance, and then I took an audience.
Bacho assisted Gunk, so he's not going to get to assist you here. Sorry. So it's going to be -2.
No, I
Bacho
didn't.
assisted
I
me.
didn't roll a Bacho assist die.
Oh, sorry. I misunderstood
we
them. I
switched
thought
it.
you were
Yeah.
saying, yeah. Okay. So it is -1 instead of -2. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. I think we switched it up once we heard the negatives. What is going on?
Dice gods, they do not like us today. It is not
They
our
do
fault.
not.
Welcome
Okay,
to my life.
So I'm
No,
taking.
you can have it back. I don't like
I'm
this.
definitely taking 1 agility, but I'm going to push anyway. Because, there's 6s on these dice somewhere.
My wife is in the chat right now. She can tell you how, before she even married me, it was very noticeable how poor my luck was. Anytime we played a game or there was any sort of random chance, I can't even touch a lotto ticket because it's an instant loser as soon as I do. What'd you get, Soldier?
So I kept the 1 that I got the first time, and I got 1 success.
1 success. All right, that is enough. And a fox grants 3 meat. So with the fishing, you're able to get a meat for each success. And with the hunting, it depends on the game you go after. So between the 4 of you, you actually got 4 meat, which when cooked will add resource dice. The 3 of you are able to get back to camp uneventfully. It's not too difficult. You just go towards the sound of water. There's only a bit of light right now in the entire world, and it's not hard to spot. You never went too far away from it. You regroup. That is a quarter day done. It is now afternoon.
Okay, give me the fox. I'll strip it and grab the fish as well and start cooking this all up.
Minor inconvenience, perhaps. I needed to use your pots for
What?
Yes, your
What?
pots are not where you think they are.
They're with the gear. That's where they go.
No, they
No?
usually go. They usually go there. Yes, that is where they usually go. But we needed to make sure that we could hear if anything came into the camp. So they are serving in a noise making capacity.
You think my pots are noise makers?
For the moment, yes, I know that's not your ideal. That is not what you prefer them to be. But we lived through the night, so they served their purpose. Even
I'm
while
sorry,
you rested.
Zaldred. You're getting the worst cut of meat today.
Oh, I did. I mean, I did kill the fox that you would have to cook, and you wouldn't have to cook if I hadn't killed the fox. Doesn't that usually get me like one of the better pieces? And she kind of looks around to see if anybody heard that she usually gets one of the better pieces.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Aldrin is just like, I
aren't
called
you
dibs.
just sneaky? I was going to say
next time
I
take
usually
better care.
get the best, and maybe this time I just get average. But yes, I understand. I understand that you prefer them not to be used in such a manner. But we did what we needed to do.
I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
That doesn't work on me. You keep thinking
So-
that works on me. That doesn't work on me. And she just sort of like, usually she'll back up a little bit so that the height difference between the two of you isn't quite so obvious. But this is one of those times where she just sort of like stands right up to you. Like, that does not work on me.
You're still getting the bad cut.
Fine.
And
So
Mirren
as-
will huffily take the meats.
Yes, making do with what little cookware you have left. You start cooking that. That's going to take a quarter day. We'll say you can get all 4 in the quarter day. I don't know what the actual rules are, but that sounds good to me. As you've gathered around this campfire, probably almost immediately after this conversation, Octa finds you along with Aba, the other sailor. She appears to have taken a bit of a more senior role with everything that's happening, kind of like a first mate situation. They both come looking for you. Noctis asks, "Did you see the creature? Any sign of it?"
We saw its tracks.
What do you think?
Abomination. Hoofed feet. Human hands. More than likely a killer.
I was hoping it was just a wolfkin. That's not
No.
good to hear.
No. Something far worse, I'm sure. But we don't know if we can eat it yet or not.
Hearing the description, would Mirren be able to roll lore to see if she remembers a story with it?
Sure. And if Gunk, I know you like lore too. If you wanted to try and remember, you could roll lore as well.
I can say I'm assisting. Maybe Gunk and Mirren are talking about it a bit.
I would appreciate. I think you still have the better lore, but
That's fine. Makes more sense.
I've been switching my dice around so that I am still not rolling well, but we're going to try to push and do it again. Nope, no idea. Also, wits damage.
No.
Mirren, again, there are so many stories that you heard from Grandma Donna that it could be, all the stories about creatures that go bump in the night. They're very popular in this world because of the darkness. A lot of parents tell scary stories to their children so that they're properly afraid of the darkness. They don't go wandering out and about during the long week, just to make sure that they stay safe. So there are so many stories that you could reference here. Any specific one is hard to tell.
I think this is the one where you have to throw salt over your left shoulder to like make it lose your tracks. Yeah, that sounds right. Mm-hmm.
Why would you throw salt over your? That is a waste of salt. I don't.
It's how you get rid of the trail behind you as you walk.
But salt is tasty. Wouldn't they
on the left shoulder
continue? Wouldn't they be able to taste it or see the little sprinkles on the ground?
I guess it's a distraction. I don't remember the story very well.
Maybe they have to count each individual sprinkle.
Yeah. That sounds right.
And they get distracted. Okay, yes, I remember that. Yes,
yeah,
that's
super
right.
good.
All right. So the three of you are going to have a quarter day while Mirren is cooking. What are you going to do to pass the time? Morale in camp is low. It does seem to be pretty well set. Tents are as secure as they can be. Fire is as they're trying to control it to ration the fuel because they only planned on having a cooking fire, not multiple fires for multiple tents. But they also have repairs going underway on the boat already.
Gunk is going to try to forage a bit, I think, if that's all right. In terms of resources, I know foraging, you have to pick either water or food. Would Gunk have a sense of what we're lower on or in more dire need of?
I'm going to say water would probably be more likely because the salt water swamping the boat probably would have contaminated a lot of the water stores. So trying to find fresh water would be very difficult.
Okay, so he'll be. So I think Gunk will, within reason, trying to find any. And there's ice everywhere, but a lot of this ice might be, not suitable. So he'll be looking around for chunks of ice that might be able to melt and make useful or anything like that.
All right.
There's a lot of penalties, I think, to this.
Forage in the winter, which is what we're calling this,
-2,
is -2. Yes.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about the darkness, so that won't be a modifier for you. Is anyone helping him forage?
Bacho would be there assisting, yes, and guarding his back. So
okay,
because you can be doing something else too if you wish.
No, Bacho was either going to sleep or he was going to help somebody do something. So because with his wits being as broken as they are right now, it's not. He's not really solid on any of the survival stuff.
My friend, if you are not up to it, it is okay. You did more than your share with what you did to those monsters. At this point, it is you have earned your rest. Let Gunk. I will find things for you. It is fine.
Are you sure, brother?
I am sure I will be fine. I can see, I can smell, I can sense. Nothing will befall me. I will be fine.
So yeah, Bacho will just turn, go back into the tent, curl up like the hound he is, and go to sleep.
All right.
As he's walking away, Zaldrun will be like, "He'll be fine. I'll be with him. I'll help."
Shoot.
Thank you, Pack Sister.
Shoot. Zaldrun, are you actually trying to help forage, or are you going to be like keeping watch? Because we could say that you could roll a scouting roll instead.
I will have my pack mates back and watch.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited.
I wasn't sure they were
screwing up.
Right, because I feel like I didn't know the answer. Like, which one of those two things does that mean?
It seems super obvious to me that I watched everyone's faces and I was like, that was not clear communication.
No, it's all good. So scouting from Zaldrun, Gunk, I believe you already rolled, right?
I haven't rolled yet because I didn't. Okay. I wanted to see the assist.
So give me that forage then.
Yeah,
which is survival.
Yeah, I will take an audience die as well, so I can get a decent amount. Okie doke. One success. I am not going to push because that's a lot of. That's basically 2 wits damage if I push. So I'm just going to stick with the 1-6.
All right. When looking for water, success means you find enough drinkable water for everyone to fill their water skins up to a D12 resource die if they like. So, Gunk, what you're going to be doing, likely, there's a lot of ash and snow that's consistently falling. You probably wouldn't have to go that far from camp. You could just, take one of the pots off of your noisemaker and just start scooping up snow and bringing it over to a fire, boiling it, filtering out as much ash as you can, and just continuing the process over and over for the quarter day. Boiled snow really doesn't give much water, so this is a long process. But you know that it's drinkable. You don't have to worry about any real contamination.
Okay.
Zaldrin.
Yeah.
2 successes.
2 successes. You don't see anything in the darkness. It's pitch black. But there's a point where you smell something. It's been a while since you've smelled anything. Even with Mirren's cooking, this dry air just doesn't carry that scent very well. But this is overpowering. The stench of decay, the stench of death. And it just lasts for a few moments as a slight breeze pushes it towards you, and then it's gone.
Gong, did you smell that? It smells foul.
Smell what? I smell fine. I bathed a bit before we came out.
No, I mean on the air. There's an odor on the air.
Gunk his nose will twist a bit. His whiskers. And he'll smell. You smell it?
I'm going to say that the smell is already gone by this point. You're not going to be able to catch it.
Sergeant, I think you. I believe you, but I did not smell anything. Though perhaps some of the kill from the fox is still on you. Wash off a bit.
Maybe the scent is just a bit up in the air, and you just don't get it down there.
Did you just make a short joke? That's super insensitive, Zaldrin. That is just no, that's fine. Hey, have fun walking back to camp in the dark. I'll have no trouble, but hey, you go right ahead.
Oh no, sometimes there are different, and she'll spew something about air currents and heights and winds and things that
There's a phrase the humans have. I think it's called, it's very peculiar. I think it's called the bullshit. It sounds like you are spouting bullshit.
Oh, well, I mean, that would certainly smell if I were throwing shit of a bull around. I agree. That would smell. But this was a different smell that I had. It was more of a dead smell.
Can I voluntarily take wits damage and get willpower from it? Let us just go back. I have enough here to keep us drinking for a little while. Come, take this.
Okay.
Here you go. In this. Come on. There you go. You can take another big chunk right here.
Yes,
there's plenty of room in that
I've got
pot.
it.
Just
I'm carrying.
move this to the side.
And he's just going to essentially turn her into a snowman as she walks back.
No, I don't smell anything now, if that helps.
Oh, yes, it's great. It's great.
And Gunk will pick up one chunk and put it in his backpack.
Okay, off we go. Let us go.
So glad we're doing this together.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another quarter day passes. Bacho has rested. Mirren, you are done cooking. You can all put your water up to D12. You've probably made even enough for a little bit more at the camp. Not enough for everyone, obviously, but you've also, got the process started that people are following suit. And there were a few of them that were also doing the same thing as you, Gunk, at the same time. It is now the 5th day of Gwenot. You're almost done with the week. You're almost through the darkness. But even despite the foraging and the hunting, food is running low. There are 20 of you. So only so much game can keep people going. And there's a lot of concern about this creature. What's the plan?
Let's hunt it down and see its intention.
I agree. If you are up to it, brother.
I'm feeling strong again.
It would make the camp more secure, I think, and they're a little bit anxious right now, which isn't smart to be during Glenot.
I agree.
Humans, they're always weak.
And I specifically told them not to panic. Yet here they are. They don't listen.
I
They don't
heard you
listen.
used your like deadpan voice and everything. It was great.
Very confusing.
So the plan is to go hunt it down then. Everyone agreed?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
All right, so
Mhm.
we're going to go into travel rules here. You're not going to have to go that far, but it will definitely take you into a different hex. So I'm going to want someone to lead the way, someone to keep watch.
I will lead the way 'cause I've got Pathfinder.
And actually, let's also have someone find prey. I think having 3 people do this would make sense.
What skill is
survival.
find prey?
Survival, yeah.
Gunk's pretty good at that. I can roll it if you want.
I will support someone else.
And Steven, it's -1 because of the darkness.
It's -2 now because it's so
-2.
dark. You don't have the light coming
Okay.
through the clouds anymore.
2 successes. I'm not going to push it.
Okay.
What did you roll, Aaron?
Lead the way.
So Zaldrin, I think you were keep watch with scouting.
Got it.
Also 2
Gunk.
successes. Also 2.
2 successes.
Yeah.
Bacho, you are trying to find the best, safest path forward, doing your best to not have to trudge through so much snow. It's tiring to make this journey, especially for the people with shorter legs. They have to raise their legs even further to get through this snow. Bacho, you're kind of blazing a path for them to go through, kind of trudging a little bit to push snow out of the way. But it's still difficult. It's tiring. Zaldrin, what'd you roll?
No successes.
No successes. Okay. It's hard to find the trail. The tracks you found earlier are already gone. The wind has blown them away. More snow has fallen since. We have a light flurry right now. I forgot to roll weather earlier. And it is freezing cold. So I need endurance rolls from you all.
You know who doesn't have to do that?
People
Bacho.
who can keep warm. Yeah.
Bacho finally doesn't have to do it.
Thanks to Mirren, Bacho may live.
Yee.
Got 1 success.
1. Okay, you're good. Zaldrin?
Taking an audience on this. One success.
1 success. So you're able to fight off the cold. You have layers and layers of fur. You're almost getting used to it by now. And by used to it, I mean you're so numb that you can't just become more numb without falling dead. So you're making your way through here. It's tiring. Bacho, I'm going to keep your... it was Zaldrin. I'm going to use the scouting roll you just had. You said 2 successes for that, correct?
No, Bacho got 2 successes.
1 success.
1 for the... Not for the endurance, but for the scouting it was 1? For keeping watch?
I'm sorry. Now I've lost what I
No
said.
worries. It was a success. It was just the hunting that was not successful.
No, I'm sorry. My endurance was a success. My scouting had no successes.
Oh, all right. My bad.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to roll that forward. There is a rumble as you all are moving through, and the ice beneath your feet begins to crack open. Snow and blocks of ice are tumbling into the abyss of this crevice that has just appeared in front of you. You throw yourselves to the ground, desperately clawing for purchase to stop yourself from plummeting into this gulf. I need everyone to make a move roll. You would have got bonuses if the keep watch would have been successful.
Bad.
I got one success, but I could push it if I need more than one.
You only need one.
Okay.
Also have one. I'd rather not push it though, because that's some ugly looking ones.
No successes, and I've already got a 1, so I'm not sure I should push.
I've got 3 ones and no successes, but I'm still tempted to push it. But I probably shouldn't because I need that stat to do anything.
Would this count as damage for like unbreakable?
If you push and break yourself, I believe unbreakable can still apply.
Then I will do that.
I'm not going to push. I can't justify the 3 damage.
Well, good thing we clarified that rule. Because, broken on agility. And then unbreakable.
Spending willpower to get yourself
And then
back
spend
up.
willpower and get back up.
Did you get any successes though, Zaldrin?
No.
No. So both Mirren and Zaldrin are falling into this crevice. Thankfully, not thankfully, it's not too deep. You fall about 8 meters, like 26 feet. It's quite a drop, and you're bumping and scraping against the ice the entire way down. I rolled the fall damage was 6 base dice. Luckily, I rolled this, so it wasn't too bad. You only take 1 damage to strength, both of you, and armor cannot prevent this. You find yourselves in an icy cavern. It appears as if this tunnel that opened up could go for at least several hundred yards, several miles, who knows? You've heard tales of these tunnels in the ice appearing before you. You have never been in one before yourselves, though. Looking up, it's quite a drop. Bacho and Gunk, you'd be able to call down to them. They'd be able to hear you. What are you guys doing?
Let's lower a rope down and have them climb out.
Do we have
There's
rope?
a tunnel down
do.
here.
There's actually, yeah. Mirren's right. There's a tunnel.
Do you see anything
But-
else?
No.
Signs of creatures or anything of that sort?
I
You can
doubt
give me
any
a scouting
around.
roll if you want.
Oh, yeah, Zeldrin can do that one. I'll take a look around and support Zeldrin.
Because I've done such a good job with scouting.
Do you have a torch, Zeldrin? If so, that'll negate the darkness here because it's not a huge distance.
About to say Mirren would be lighting a torch at this point in time. She doesn't like being in the dark
Okay.
that long.
So I'm not going to give you a minus for the darkness, and you'll get a +1 for Mirren.
I need torches. I have a D8. D6.
No. Nope. That is 2 with damage.
I don't know why I'm asking you to roll. We can just have you break yourself over and over, and it'd be the same results.
Even though I'm
Damage.
bad, I'll roll next time. I mean, there's a reason both of us are down here in the bottom of this hole.
You
This is true.
light the torch, and you take a few steps either direction. You can see that after you go around a few jagged curves, it's very rough. It's not like this was a carved tunnel, but there are several branching pathways that seem to splinter through this glacier. As for seeing anything of value, not quite.
Where the ice flows open, they can close just as quickly. I would not recommend it.
Actually, Bacho, I want a lore test from you. +1, because this is something your tribe would have dealt with quite often.
My lore is 0, but my wits is 5, so. Nope. No sixes.
Okay.
I will. I'll push myself. I'll push it. I didn't have any ones either, so. But I got 3 ones this time, and 1 6.
One success then.
Wow.
Okay.
1 success.
So you would know that quite often in these ice caps, there could be a complex system of caves and tunnels. Some of them enormous, and some so cramped that only a halfling could squeeze through. You also know that these tunnels can quite often have hidden treasure in them. This land and ground has risen so much over the centuries that quite often things were buried or frozen over. It's a risk, though. And like you said, the tunnels can move and shift. It doesn't happen extremely often, but it is possible.
It is a risk, but if there's going to be anything found from the before times, this may be where we will find it. Something to make this week worthwhile.
I like the before times.
Do we have, like, with our rope, can we anchor the rope to the top up here, like with a piton or something, and with some of our climbing gear, and then so we've got a steady access point?
Yes. Let me actually save you the effort here. You start scouting around for the best place to anchor this rope, and you see that this crevice that is opened up actually goes pretty far back, and there is a narrow ramp, sort of, not anything natural. It's definitely rough, but there is a way down, and it's actually big enough you could get the horses down there too.
Well, shall we, Gunk?
Yes, we found a better way down. Not as quick as yours, but safer. We'll be there in a moment.
Are you telling me there's actually stairs somewhere that you just walk down to get here? And you know,
Not stairs, like ramp. Ven's coming, if that makes you feel better.
It does make me feel a lot better. Wish I didn't hurt right now, though.
Yeah, we'll be there in a minute.
All right.
I'll follow your voices, like Marco Poloing to like go to like where the ramp is.
The two of you get down with the horses fairly easily. Not going to require a movement check here. Maybe on the way up because it's icy. The horses themselves, the hooves grip fairly well in this type of terrain. The 4 of you reunite, and there is just a series of tunnels that branch in all sorts of different ways. You can tell a lot of them seem very fresh from this crack that just opened up. Some of them seem as if they've been here for quite some time. What kind of direction would you like to go? These tunnels can be so big that you can literally travel hexes through them.
Let us stick to the older tunnels. That is where we're more likely to find something of interest.
I think so too.
All right, so we're going to continue with the travel rules here. It's going to be lead the way and keep watch.
And still lead the way. Not quite as well as I did before, but I still got 5 dice in it.
I'm down to 3 for my. Is anybody else decent at scouting?
For scouting, I've got 2.
I am very smart, so I could. Salzran, I can take care of that. I don't.
Okay.
I don't have any formal training, but I've seen you do it. I think I can. I think I picked up a thing or two.
I think you can.
I'll hold the torch.
Oh, that's very nice.
Speaking of which, I need you to roll another resource die for the torch as it goes through another quarter day.
Oh no.
I could give you a torch.
The benefit while you're down here, though, is that you're actually very well protected from the elements. That strong wind, the flurry of snow, the cold, it's insulated down here. It's not warm by any means, but with the torch, it's much more comfortable than you were up above. So you don't have to make cold rolls down here.
So I rolled a 1, and then I rolled another 1, so I now no longer have torches.
Do you have to roll more than once? Oh,
No,
you rolled a 1 before.
Earlier, my initial roll when we first fell down this crevice.
All right, so you have enough torches for this quarter day, and then you're going to be out.
Bacho has some torches. He can. light one
How did
next
we
time.
do on the lead the way?
One success, and I'm not going to push it because I also got a 1.
And keep watch.
Is there a benefit to having more than one success on this?
I'm going to say no.
Okay, then one success. I'm good.
Okay. Bacho, you do choose the older tunnels. And being a Wolfkin from the northern tundras, you have experience with these tunnels a little bit. It's not like your people would go in them quite often, but there were definitely delves occasionally hoping for some sort of resources or treasure that they could trade. It's not unheard of. I wouldn't say you feel at home by any means, but you're more comfortable. Going through these tunnels, they're rough and jagged. You're often climbing up or down different ledges of ice. Often you have to push or pull the horses to get them to follow you. A few times the tunnels lead to dead ends, only for you to turn back around. And while you're backtracking, you find an offshoot that you didn't even see the way before. As you continue, you realize you're going a little bit deeper and deeper, and the ice is becoming much more cloudy with frozen ash. The ice was always dirty on the way down, but it's becoming more and more dirty. And you think that maybe you're reaching the layers of this glacier that could be hundreds of years old from the very first eruption. With the Keep Watch, you're going to be passing through some of this very dirty ice. And at first you don't notice it. You think it's a bit of a rock sticking out of the ice. But Gunk, with your keeping watch, you see that there's actually remnants of wooden planks poking out of the ice in a few places, along with a couple other strange pieces of metal sticking out as well.
You pointed out there. Look, this is not all ice. This is what? This is metal? Some sort of structure or a ship perhaps down here at one point?
Can we chip away at the ice or melt some of it to get a better idea what this is?
Melting would be difficult. Chipping away is possible. It would take time. You'd have to try and dedicate time to it. Absolutely.
Bacho says that, and Zaldrin goes up to it and it's just like, I think it's going to take a
couple
while.
of days.
I don't know that it's worth it if we want to get out of here quickly.
Yeah.
Is there any way to identify perhaps what it was? Like, I mean, Gunk is thinking either.
I would take craft or lore here.
I'll do a lore.
I could do a craft.
Both of you can do it. You'll get slightly different answers.
Okay. Sounds good.
Which
Okay.
dice are not going to betray me?
I have 2 6s from my lore test.
2 6s. We'll start with the lore then. You are looking over this, trying to see all the different protrusions coming out of this ice. And you almost didn't notice it at first because it was much higher up. But the light of the torch just kind of glints off it. And you see a spearhead fairly far above you, mostly sticking out of the ice. The rest of the shaft is very well buried in there. And you see a glint of, it appears to be Reaver runes. You said 2 successes, right?
That is correct, yes.
With the second success, I'm going to say that you might have enough familiarity to kind of understand the pronunciation, if not the language of these runes. And it reads Gelnir, Gelnir.
Who read it out loud? Gelnir? Look right there, the spear. It is the Reaver language,
Oh.
Gelnir.
That sounds familiar.
does.
But I got crafting too.
2.
I pushed.
You're going to see, you actually start looking at the more wooden aspects. And like the hunch, it appears to be a ship that's been mostly broken. And as you start searching the other side of the tunnel, you actually find remnants of the other half of the ship as well, or wherever it was divided, maybe not evenly. But you see pieces of wood where it must have been entirely frozen, but it's been broken apart by this crevice.
So you've got the front half and the back half, and we're in the middle. We have a new ship. A little broken.
Fascinating. Is there any space perhaps to sneak in anywhere? Or is there anything like open here and there, or
yeah, I would take a
crack or crevice?
Scouting survival. You could probably convince me even move. I could negotiate on this one.
If you're saying,
and if someone wants to help him, he can get a +1.
You're saying survival. I'm saying I like the cut of your jeep.
Bacho will help him. Boost him up, help him find a...
Okay, easy now, easy. Oh, bye. I'm going to have to push that. Okay.
I doubt this will play into it, but I'm looking for a way in, but I don't think my pride will come in. But just in case, I'm going to ask. I sense unnatural phenomenon before anything else. Like if I'm searching, I'm just searching for a way in there. That probably won't apply. Never mind. Ignore me. 1 success. God, that was a lot of dice, and I only got 1.
You always talk yourself out of the bonuses because I'm willing to give everyone.
I feel like you're going to say no, so like I don't.
I would have given it to you.
You always got to advocate for the BS.
Go ahead, roll it.
Okay.
Advocate for that BS.
All right, I got an extra success.
Ooh. Okay. How many total was that?
So 2 total.
2 total. With Bacho pushing you up, there actually is a small little crevice that continues kind of perpendicular to the tunnel that you're on. You're able to crawl and kind of squirm your way through. It gets narrow at points where you're not walking, you're just pulling yourself along inch by inch. Maybe at a certain point, you're worried about not even being able to turn around, but finally it opens up a little bit. And as you kind of rub on the ice a little bit here nearby, you see that there is a bit of a clear patch in this ice. What you see, however, is not the best. It appears as if there were quite a few Reavers. They're Wolfkin, but they're dressed the way Reavers are dressed, very different style of clothing and equipment. And they're floating in various stages of this ice. It looks as if they possibly drowned from the agony on their face, how they're all in different levels of the ice. It looks like they're in the motion of swimming. Whatever froze them would have had to have frozen them very, very quickly as they were sinking.
That is indeed supernatural. Is this open spot, does it go anywhere, or does this just lead to these?
It's not necessarily going to lead closer to the ship. It just gave you a much better view of what's in there. Okay. The path probably continues on, but in a much more different direction. You wouldn't find it that useful.
Okay, so taking a good look around, steeling himself, he probably gave himself a start, like, oh, geez. And then he realized they were frozen. And he will look closely. He will take in anything about their armor, if there's any sort of insignia, stuff like that. He's just making mental notes, saying if how old this might be. If I don't necessarily know, but whatever about them might stand out in some way. Their weapons, perhaps, if there is like a pommel that is significant. Anything that might reveal more detail about them. And then he will...
I'll give you a lore test on this. If you want to make it back to the group and pool your knowledge, you'll get bonuses.
Knowing that Bacho has more knowledge of this, I instead will... I'll take a moment, I will internalize it. I will try to look at it as carefully as possible. I'll even speak the words to myself describing what I see. And then I will come back. And I will say, I found Reavers dead, frozen, long frozen. And then I'll explain what they look like, but whatever it is, they did not. It's like they were flash frozen, like it happened very fast. Too fast, unnaturally fast. I'm not sure if it was Maybe the result of one of those creatures that it could have been us that it happened to, or is it something else? I don't know.
Did my crafting give me an idea of the age of the wood, like how long it may have been here?
Yeah, we could have said that the wood would be preserved in ice fairly well, but it definitely looks old, quite
Like
old.
the style of boat.
Yes, it seems to be a much older fashion of technology of boat building, a little bit more crude. It would still passable. It would still cross oceans, but over the centuries, improvements have been made to how boats are built.
Well, this is also like really old, so magic, gods, supernatural. Maybe they were some of the first people hit by the first frost.
Could be that as well, yes.
Gunk, go ahead and give me that lore test, and we'll say +2 if you've told everyone everything and you're pooling knowledge.
Got it. Well, there's a lot of dice I'm about to roll. Is it beneficial to have more than one on this?
Yes.
All right, I will push then.
I would push. 2 successes, but I took some willpower or some wits damage.
2 successes. All right. You tell everyone the information, and Gunk, you can decide how much experience you actually have with Reavers. All of you have a little bit of experience with them. You've all seen them probably much more closely than you would have preferred as you were captured by them in session 0. But judging by how the equipment looked, how the ship looks, these Reavers have likely been here for over 100 years, if not several hundred years. The Veiled Age, when the ash from the cloud first started covering the world, started 400 years ago. So likely sometime after that from the dirtiness of the ice. However, Zaldrin, I'm going to say that you are the one who actually knew this, because the Orcish people were the ones who suffered the most when the Reavers first sailed from the southern seas. Hearing the name Gelnir actually kind of triggers something in your mind. There was a legendary Reaver who the Reavers revere and the Orcs despise. Her name was Helkatla Ravenfriend, and she was known as the Reaver shipmaster that led the initial invasion of Wolfkin from the southern seas. She was the one that commanded the entire army that first had them take over the city of Ganvik, and has led to them being a plague on this world for centuries after. And you recognize Gelnir as the name of her famed spear.
I actually have some information to contribute here. I have not done enough with my spear for it to have a name, but there are others that do. And Gelnir is the name of a spear. And I'll kind of recount the information about the atrocities of this Ravenfriend.
And Zoldrin, you think that is the spear?
That is the name of the spear.
And perhaps you should reclaim it in the name of the orcs. Purge it of its evil in battle.
Turn it against the very people that brought it here to begin with.
And Zaldrin sort of gets quiet, but you can see she's kind of intently thinking about what it would mean for her to be able to do all of these grandiose things that you all are thinking that she might be able to do, assuming she survives how cold it is. So what would it take to get from where we are to attempt a retrieval?
It's quite a ways up. That doesn't mean that you can't get there. It's going to take some time to chisel away at the ice to try and pull it loose enough, but it's already out a little bit, so that'll make things easier. It's really just a matter of time being spent to get it.
Are you all okay with? I can use the spear until it is done with if I have another one handy, but again, Bacho, I tried the wasn't really softening the ice too much.
We'll chip away at it till we get it free for you, Zaldrin. For the good of the pack.
Good at the pack.
All right, so the group of you begin chipping away as best you can using whatever tools and implements you have, just hammering at the ice. Each time you hammer, there's an echo that vibrates through this tunnel. The first couple times you were a little nervous because you haven't been here very long, so you wait, seeing if there's any sound. Nothing. You continue chiseling away over and over. About a half hour or so in, you actually do hear a sound in between chisels. The sound of creatures scurrying across the ice. As you turn to look, Mirren, you hold your torch up. You see that there are a swarm of frost spiders rushing towards you from down the tunnel. And this is where we're going to end the session for tonight, and we will pick up with that not next week. We're taking a week off. We will be back on the 27th, and you all will be eaten alive by frost spiders. I'm kidding, of course. I roll ones all the time.
20th?
This is
We're
true.
there the 20th?
27th.
Next week
20th.
is the 13th.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
20th. My bad.
Just checking.
Back on the 20th. Let's do some shout outs. Aaron, what's going on at Garblag?
Let's see. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be back for some more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, Shillings and Crossbones, as we take to the Sea of Claws for some piratical fun. Then on Thursday, maybe not this week, but coming very soon, our very own Garblag Pete is going to start a new Traveler campaign, so you should turn in for that. And Millie is back to running Coriolis on Tuesdays. And that's Garblag.
What do we got going on with Lollygaggers?
Yeah, man. This Friday, we're doing a one-shot of Black Sword Hack. Very excited. It's kind of a riff on the Black Hack. So sort of set in a, Eric of Melniborn kind of setting in a way. Robert E. Howard inspired, that kind of stuff. Michael Moorcock, etc. So we're going to be trying that out. On Saturday, we're going to go back to Embers of Twilight, so the Twilight Imperium RPG that just came out for the Genesis system. So we're going to do that round 2.
I had a lot of fun with that one.
You can see Steven in his true form, which is a green person.
Goblin
it's
mode.
Pretty great. Yeah, it's totally in goblin mode. It's great. And Melissa plays a bird person, and Aaron plays a sort of a albino-ish blue skins. I think they're like based loosely on like the Soviets. I think that's kind of the idea of the Letnevs. I'm not sure, at least in the traditional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Every Soviet I see a picture of, I imagine, is blue skin. So
I think of them as like they're the Chiss. Like I always think of the Letnevs as the Chiss. That's kind of
that's probably a good analog.
And then next Monday, we're doing some Call of Cthulhu or in the Yorn Express. So we'll be back to that. And obviously a week from today, we're going to be off on Tuesday, but we'll be back in a couple of weeks with more Forbidden Lands. Go ahead and check out the YouTube page, Adventures in Lollygagging. Search for it there. Got all sorts of games there, including Conan. We also have a couple cool new games coming up pretty soon here, as Delta Green is going to be starting later this month. And Fallout, the Winter of Adam campaign, is on the docket probably for July, I think is sort of what we're targeting.
Yep.
So yeah, we got a couple new games coming down the pike, new campaigns, new longer games. So we'll be around for a bit. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and start up a raid for Quests in Chaos. If everyone wants to follow that, thank you for everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you to those of you who are watching this later on VOD or on YouTube or listening to this in podcast form. We definitely appreciate it. Steven, thank you for running this and for not murdering us with cold yet.
Thank you all for playing. Can't ask for better players. It's always a joy playing with y'all.
Absolutely, man. Right back at you.
Except for Jeff. He's not
So
a
close.
joy. He is just pure bliss.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.